61. What if our money loses value? Jerry. Abraham. In the past, our money was primarily coins, metal that had a value in and of itself, like the $20 gold piece. The gold itself was worth $20, and the silver in the silver dollar had value. And so, it seems simple to understand the value of the coin. But now our money in and of itself has no actual value. In other words, the paper and coins are essentially valueless. I've always appreciated the convenience of money as a way of exchanging goods and talents rather than trading, let's say, a chicken for a container of milk or for a basket of potatoes. But now our money is being artificially devalued. And it's becoming increasingly difficult to really understand the value of a dollar. In other words, it reminds me of my own searching for my own value, like how much is my talent worth? How much should I ask for in exchange for the time and energy that I put forth? But now I'm learning from you that we don't have to consider our value in that way. We only have to consider what it is we want and then to allow it in. I'm aware that many people are feeling insecure about their financial future, because they feel they don't have control over what may happen to the value of the dollar, because it's typically just a handful of people who seem to control or manipulate that. Many worry that there's going to be more inflation or even another depression. I'd like people to understand what you've been teaching us about the LOA, so that they won't be concerned with things that are outside their control, like the value of the dollar. Abraham. You've hit upon something very essential here, regarding the subject of money, because you're right. Many of you are recognizing that the dollars today just are not worth what they were at one time. But that's another position of lack you very often stand firmly upon that keeps you from attracting the abundance that is yours. We'd like you to understand that the dollar and its assigned value is really not as important to your experience as you're believing. And that if you could put your attention upon what you're wanting, in terms of being and then having and then doing, that all of the money or other means for bringing about what you want could then flow easily and much more effortlessly into your experience. We keep coming back to the same terminology. From your place of lack you cannot attract its opposite. And so it really is a matter of adjusting your thinking so that your thinking harmonizes with what feels good to you. Every thought that you think vibrates, and it's by virtue of having that vibrating thought that you attract. When you think a thought of lack, that thought's vibrating at a place that is so alien to that which your inner being knows to be, that your inner being cannot resonate with you at all. And the resulting feeling within you is one of negative emotion. When you think a thought of upliftment or abundance or well-being, those thoughts do harmonize with what your inner being knows to be, and under those conditions you're filled with a feeling of positive emotion. You can trust that the way you feel is the indicator about which side of the subject that you're on. Whether it's a subject of money or lack of it, or health or lack of it, or relationship or lack of it, always when you feel good you're in the place of attracting what you're wanting. 62. To reverse a downward spiral. Jerry. When I would see people having financial problems, I used to worry about them. I would watch as they spiral down till they would finally come crashing down in bankruptcy. But then in a very short time they'd have another new boat, a new luxury car, and another beautiful home. In other words, no one I watched seemed to stay down. But why couldn't they stop the downward spiral somewhere earlier along the way and start back upwards sooner? Why did so many of them have to go all the way to the bottom before they could start back up again? Abraham. Well, the reason for any downward spiral is attention to lack. In their fear that they might lose something or in their attention to the things that they were losing they were focused upon the lack of what they wanted, and as long as that was their point of attention, only more loss was possible. As they felt guarded or defensive, or as they began to justify or rationalize or blame, they were on the lack side of the equation, and only more lack could be their experience. But once they hit bottom and were no longer in a place of guardedness, because there was nothing else to lose, then their attention shifted and so their vibration shifted, so their point of attraction shifted. Hitting what they believed to be the bottom caused them to begin to look up. You could say that it forced them to begin telling a different story. Your life experience has caused you to ask for many wonderful things that are making their way into your experience, but your worry or your doubt or your fear or resentment or blame or jealousy, or any number of negative emotions, would indicate that the predominant thoughts you were thinking were holding those things away. It would be as if you'd drawn them right outside your door but the door was closed. As you begin telling a different story of the things you could buy with your $100 bill, as you relax and focus more upon the positive aspects of your life, as you more deliberately choose the better feeling end of the vibrational stick, that door will open and you will be flooded with manifestations of those wanted things and experiences and relationships. 63. A war against war is war. Recognizing that you, the creator of your own experience, and learning to deliberately do so by directing your thoughts, is an adjustment for most people, because most people believe that you make things happen through action. Not only have you believed that action is what makes things happen, but you also believe that if you apply pressure to unwanted things, they'll go away. And although you may believe that pushing against those unwanted things will cause them to leave your experience, that's not how the laws of the universe work. And that's not the proof of your experience either, for all of those wars are getting bigger. Attention to the lack of what is wanted causes it to increase and come closer to you. Just as focusing upon what is wanted causes it to increase and come closer to you. When you relax into your natural well-being, when you make statements such as, "I seek abundance, and I trust the laws of the universe. I've identified the things that I want and now I'm going to relax and allow them into my experience," more of what you desire will come. If your financial situation feels like a struggle, you're pushing your financial well-being further away. But when you begin to feel ease regarding your financial situation, you're then allowing more abundance to flow into your experience. It really is as simple as that. And so, when you see others excelling in their attraction of money, and you feel negative emotion about it, that is your signal that your current thought is not allowing the abundance that you desire into your experience. When you find yourself critical of the way anyone has attracted or is using money, you're pushing money away from yourself. But when you realize that what others do with money has nothing to do with you, and that your primary work is to think and speak and do what feels good to you, then you'll be in alignment not only about the subject of money, but about every important subject in your physical experience. 64. Can we succeed without talent? Jerry. Abraham. What bearing does talent or skill or ability have on bringing abundance or money into our lives? Abraham. Very little. Those are all action aspects for the most part, and your action is responsible but for a minuscule part of what comes to you. Your thoughts and words or thoughts articulated, are the reason that your life unfolds as it does. Jerry. So then would you say that people with no saleable skill or talent could still receive all the financial abundance they want in their lives? Abraham. Absolutely. Unless in comparing themselves to others and concluding that they have no saleable skill or talent they feel diminished and therefore defeat their own experience with their own negative expectation. The most valuable skill that you could ever develop is the skill of directing your thoughts toward what you want, to be adept at quickly evaluating all situations and then quickly coming to the conclusion of what you most want, and then giving your undivided attention to that. There is tremendous skill in directing your own thoughts that will yield results that cannot be compared with results that mere action can provide. 65. Can we get something without giving? Jerry. How can a person get past the belief that they must give $1 worth of something in order to get $1 worth of something? Abraham. Your knowledge in all things comes only through life experience. But your life experience comes as a result of the thoughts that you're thinking. So, even though you may have wanted something for a very long time, if your thoughts have been upon the absence of it, then it could not come to you, and so from your personal experience you come to the conclusion that it's not possible, or that it's a struggle. In other words, you come to many valid conclusions about things being hard when you've led a difficult life. It's our desire to help you to understand what is really at the heart of that self-created struggle. We want to help you to begin from a different premise, and understand the laws at the basis of all things. A new understanding of the laws of the universe and a willingness to begin telling a different story will give you different results. And those different results will then give you different beliefs, or knowledge. You are the only one who can evaluate your effectiveness. No one else has the ability to discern where you stand relative to where you're wanting to be. And no one else can decide where you should be. Only you. 66. They want to win the lottery fortune. Jerry. Many people are hoping for some major financial windfall to come to them to free them from debt or to release them from working at something they don't want to work at in order to receive money. The thing I hear them say most often is that they want to win the lottery where they'll get their abundance at exchange for someone else losing theirs. Abraham. If their expectation were in a place that would allow it, then that could be a way for money to come to them. But most know the odds against that, and so for most their expectation for winning the lottery is not in the powerful place either. Jerry. So, how does hoping to win relate to expecting to win? Abraham. Well, just as hoping is more productive than doubting, expecting is much more productive than hoping. Jerry. Well then how could a person begin to expect something that their life experience hasn't yet shown them? In other words, how can you expect something you haven't experienced? Abraham. You do not have to have money to attract money. But you cannot feel poor and attract money. The key is, you have to find ways of improving the way you feel from right where you stand before things can begin to change. By softening your attention to the things that are going wrong, and by beginning to tell stories that lean more in the direction of what you want instead of in the direction of what you've got, your vibration will shift, your point of attraction will shift, and you'll get different results. And in a short time, because of the different results you're then getting, you will then have beliefs, or knowledge, of abundance that will easily perpetuate more of the same. People often say, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And that's why. Look for reasons to feel good, identify what you want, and hold your thoughts in a place that feels good. 67. Living abundantly is not magic. As we explain from our perspective the abundant nature of your universe, and the potential for abundance that's always available to you, we understand that our knowledge does not become your knowledge only because you hear us say it. If you asked you to trust what we say or just try to understand, you cannot just adopt our understanding as your own, for it's only your own life experience that brings knowledge to you. The beliefs that you hold as a result of your own life experience are very strong. And we understand that you cannot release them immediately and replace them with others, even though we know that there are many more productive beliefs that you could foster. But there is something that you can begin today that will make a profound difference in the way your life unfolds, that does not require an immediate releasing of the beliefs that you currently hold. Start telling a more positive, better feeling story about your life, and about the things that are important to you. Do not write your story like a factual document, weighing all the pros and cons of your experience. But instead tell the uplifting, fanciful, magical story of the wonder of your own life. And watch what happens. It will feel like magic as your life begins to transform right before your eyes. But it's not by magic. It's by the power of the laws of the universe and your deliberate alignment with those laws. 68. Trading freedom for money? Whether you're focused upon the lack of money or the lack of time, you're still focused upon the lack of something you want, and therefore holding yourself in resistance to the things you really want. Whether your negative emotion is because of your feeling of shortage of time, or whether it's because of your feeling of shortage of money, you're still feeling negative emotion, and you're still in the state of resistance, and therefore you're holding away what you really want. As you feel that you do not have enough time to do all of the things that you need or want to do, your attention to lack negatively impacts you much more than you realize. A feeling of being overwhelmed is your indicator that you're denying yourself access to ideas, rendezvous, conditions and all manner of cooperation that could assist you if you were not disallowing them. It is an uncomfortable cycle where you feel a shortage of time, you focus upon your overloaded schedule, and then you feel overwhelmed, and in all of that you offer a vibration that makes improvement impossible. You have to begin telling a different story. You cannot continue to comment on how much you have to do without holding assistance away. There's a cooperative universe at your fingertips ready and able to help you in more ways than you can begin to imagine. But you deny yourself that benefit as you continue to complain about too much to do. As you feel that you do not have enough money, your attention to the lack of money disallows the avenues that could bring you more. You just cannot look at the opposite of what you want and get what you want. You have to begin telling a different story. You have to find a way to create a feeling of abundance before abundance can come. As you begin to feel freer regarding the expenditure of time and money, doors will open, people will come to assist you, refreshing and productive ideas will occur to you, and circumstances and events will unfold. As you change the way you feel, you access the energy that creates worlds. It's there for your ready access at all times. 69. Feeling negative with respect to dollars or cancer. Jerry. Abraham. What's the difference between having a negative feeling about money, and therefore you don't get the money, and saying, I don't want cancer, but you do get cancer? Abraham. Here's the way it works. You get the essence of what you think about. And so, as you're thinking about the lack of health, you're getting the lack of health. As you're thinking about the lack of money, you're getting the lack of money. You can tell by the way you feel as you're offering your thought whether you're attracting the positive or the negative aspects of the subject. The universe does not hear, no. When you're saying, no, I do not want illness, your attention to the subject of illness is saying, yes, come to me this thing I do not want. Anything you're giving your attention to is an invitation to the essence of it. When you're saying, I want money, but it will not come, your attention to its absence is the same thing as saying, come to me, absence of money, which I do not want. When you're thinking of money in the way that will make it come to you, you always feel good. When you are thinking of money in the way that keeps it from coming to you, you always feel bad. That's how you know the difference. So, you're asking, if I can get cancer by focusing upon the lack of health, then why couldn't I get money by focusing upon the lack of it? The receiving of money which you do want is the same as the receiving of health which you do want. The receiving of cancer which you do not want is the same as the receiving of no money which you do not want. Just make sure that whatever thoughts you're thinking, or whatever words you're speaking, evoke from you positive emotion. And then you'll be in the mode of attracting what you do want. When negative emotion is present, you're always in the mode of attracting something you do not want. 70. He didn't struggle for money. Not long ago someone at a gathering was challenging Loa in a similar way as she told the story about her friend who had supported her former husband for many years. She explained how her friend had worked hard and taken care of him for all of that time and was often struggling to earn enough money to support them. Eventually she grew tired of his unwillingness to contribute financially, and they separated. Her husband never showed any evidence that money was important to him, but now, she tells us, he's just inherited over $1 million and now he won't share his money with his ex-wife. It doesn't seem fair, this woman said to us, that his wife cared about money and worked hard for it and received so little, while he barely worked and didn't seem to care about money at all, and now he's inherited over $1 million. How can that be? She wanted to know. We explained to her that understanding the Loa as we do, this story makes perfect sense. This woman worked hard and felt resentment, and was focused upon lack, and the universe matched those feelings precisely. Her husband felt ease, refused to feel guilty, expected things to come to him easily, and the universe matched those feelings precisely. Many believe that they must work hard and struggle and pay a price and feel pain and that they will then be rewarded for their struggle. But that is not consistent with the laws of the universe. You cannot find a happy ending to an unhappy journey. That defies law. We told our friend, there is not a shred of evidence to the contrary of the Loa, and you had the benefit of knowing these two people, of seeing their attitudes and watching their results. One struggling, working hard, doing what society taught her to do, and not getting what she wants, while the other refused to struggle, insisted on a feeling of ease, and is the recipient of the resources that support more ease. Many would say, well, it might be consistent with the laws of the universe, but it's still not right. But we want you to know that when you get in sync with this powerful law, you will then understand the absolute justice of it. Since you have control over what you offer, what could be more just than the universe giving you exactly what you offer vibrationally? What could be more just than the powerful Loa responding equally to everyone who offers a vibration? Once you gain control over the thoughts you think, your sense of injustice will subside, and will be replaced with the exuberance for life and the zest to create that you were born with. Let everything in the universe be an example to you of the way the laws of the universe work. If you believe that you must work hard in order to deserve the money that comes to you, then money cannot come to you unless you do work hard. But the money that comes in response to physical action is very small in comparison with what comes through alignment of thought. Surely you have noticed the enormous disparity between some people who apply tremendous action for little return while you see others seemingly offering very little action for an enormous return. We want you to understand that the disparity exists only in the comparison of the action they're offering. But there is no disparity or injustice relative to the alignment of energies within them. Financial success or any other kind of success does not require hard work or action. But it does require alignment of thought. You simply cannot offer negative thought about things that you desire and then make up for it with action or hard work. When you learn to direct your own thoughts, you will discover the true leverage of energy alignment. Most of you are much closer to a financial fortune than you are even allowing yourself to purely desire. Because in the thought that it might come you right away begin thinking of how disappointed you will be if it does not come. And so, in your lackful thought you do not allow yourself to desire or to expect anything magnificent in terms of money. And that's the reason why for the most part you're living rather mediocre financial experiences. You are right when you think money isn't everything. You certainly do not need money to have joy in your experience. But in your society, where so much of what you live is tied to money in some way, most of you associate money with freedom. And since freedom is a basic tenet of your being, then coming into alignment with money will help you establish a balanced footing that will be of value to you in all other aspects of your experience. 71. Is spending money comfortable? A woman said to us one day, "I always feel uncomfortable when I spend money." She told us that over time she'd managed to save quite a bit of money, but whenever she thought about spending any of it, she would freeze up and feel afraid to go another step further. We said to her, "It is certainly understandable that when you believe that your money is coming to you because of the action that you're offering, and you also believe that you will not always be able to offer the action, that you would want to hold on to your money and spend it sparingly to make it last. However, that feeling of shortage slows the process of more money flowing into your experience. If you feel uncomfortable with the idea of spending money, then we absolutely do not encourage you to spend the money while you're feeling uncomfortable. Because any action taken during negative emotion is never a good idea. But the reason for your discomfort is not about the action of spending the money, but instead it's an indication that your thoughts about money in that moment are not a vibrational match to your own desire. A belief in shortage will never resonate with your broader knowing, because there is no shortage. Any attention to lack of something wanted will always produce negative emotion within you because your guidance is letting you know that you have strayed from your broader basic understanding of abundance and of well-being. Find a way to ease your discomfort and eventually transform it into a feeling hope, and then into positive expectation. And then from that stable place of feeling better, that feeling of freezing up will be replaced with confidence and enthusiasm. Whether you are focused upon the shortage of money, or seeing yourself as having only so many years to live, and so each day that is expended is one day closer to the end of your years, that feeling of decline is contrary to your broader understanding of the eternal nature of your being. In the same way that you understand that you do not have to attempt the impossible task of drawing enough air into your lungs to last all day or all week or all year, but instead you easily breathe in and out, always receiving what you want or need whenever you want or need it, money can flow in and out of your experience with the same ease, once you achieve that expectation of eternal abundance. All of the money that you want is available for you to receive. All you have to do is allow it into your experience. And as the money flows in, you can gently allow it to flow out. For like the air you breathe, there will always be more to flow. You do not have to guard your money, like holding your breath and not letting it out because there will not be any more coming. People sometimes protest as they tell their stories of shortage or scarcity, pointing out the reality of the shortage that they've experienced or witnessed or heard about. And we understand that there are plenty of examples to point to, of people who are experiencing shortages of many things that they desire. But we want you to understand that those experiences of shortage are not because abundance is not available, but instead because it is being disallowed. Continuing to tell stories of shortage only continues to contradict your desire for abundance. And you cannot have it both ways. You cannot focus on unwanted and receive wanted. You cannot focus upon stories about money that make you feel uncomfortable and allow into your experience what makes you feel comfortable. You have to begin telling a different story if you want different results. We would begin by saying, "I want to feel good. I want to feel productive and expansive. My thoughts are the basis for the attraction of all things that I consider to be good, which includes enough money for my comfort and joy, which includes health and wonderful people around me who are stimulating and uplifting and exciting. Begin telling the story of your desire and then add to it the details of the positive aspects that you can find that match those desires. And then embellish your positive expectation by speculating with your good feeling, "Wouldn't it be nice if?" Examples. Say things like, "Only good things come to me. While I don't have all of the answers, and while I don't know all of the steps, and I can't identify all of the doors that will open for me, I know that as I move through time and space, the path will become obvious to me. I know I will be able to figure it out as I go along." Every time you tell your better feeling story, you will feel better and the details of your life will improve. The better it gets, the better it gets. 72. How to change my point of attraction. Sometimes people worry that they've been telling the story of what they do not want for such a long time that they now do not have time left in their life to make up for all those years of focusing upon the shortage of money. They have no cause for worry. Although it is true that you cannot go backward and undo all of that negative thinking, there is no reason to do that even if you could, because all of your power is in your now. As you find a better feeling thought right now, your point of attraction shifts now. The only reason that it may seem like negative thinking that you've picked up many years ago is having an impact on your life now is because you have been continuing the negative train of thought or beliefs through all of those years. A belief is only a thought you continue to think. A belief is nothing more than a chronic pattern of thought, and you have the ability, if you try a little bit, to begin a new pattern, to tell a new story, to achieve a different vibration, to change your point of attraction. Just a simple act of noticing how many things you could purchase in this one day with a $100 you're carrying with you would dramatically alter your financial point of attraction. That one simple process is enough to tip the balance of your vibrational scale, enough to show you actual tangible results in your attraction of money. Mentally spend your money and imagine an improved lifestyle. Deliberately conjure a feeling of freedom by imagining what it would feel like to have a large amount of money at your disposal. You see, the Loa is responding to your vibration, not to the reality you're currently living. But if your vibration continues to be only about the reality you are living, nothing can change. You can easily change your point of attraction by visualizing the lifestyle you desire and holding your attention upon those images until you begin to feel relief, which is an indicator that a true vibrational shift has occurred. 73. My standards are mine to set. Sometimes from an awareness of shortage of money you think that you want everything that you see. A sort of uncontrollable craving rises within you, which tortures you when you do not have the money to spend, or causes even more distress when you give in to the cravings and spend money you do not have, going deeper into debt. But that craving to spend money under those conditions is really a false signal. For it's not coming from a real desire to have those things. Buying one more thing and bringing it home will not satisfy that craving. For what you're really feeling is a void that can only be filled by coming into vibrational alignment with who you really are. You're currently feeling insecure, when who you really are is someone who is absolutely secure. You're currently feeling inadequate, when who you really are is someone who is adequate. You're feeling lack, when who you really are is someone who is abundant. It is a vibrational shift that you're craving, not the ability to purchase something. Once you're able to achieve and consistently maintain your personal alignment, a great deal of money will flow into your experience, if that is your desire. And you will very likely spend large amounts of money on things that you desire. But your purchases will feel very different to you then. You will not feel a need or a void that you're attempting to fill with that purchase, but instead you will feel a satisfying interest in something, which will easily make its way into your experience. And every part of the process, from the inception of the idea to the full-blown manifestation of it in your experience, will bring you a feeling of satisfaction and joy. Do not let others set the standards about how much money you should have or about what you should do with it, for you are the only one who could ever accurately define that. Come into alignment with who you really are and allow the things that life has helped you to know that you want to flow into your experience. 74. Does saving for security work? A man related to us that he once had a teacher who told him that to set money aside for security was the same as planning for a disaster. And that, in fact, the very act of trying to feel more secure would actually lead to more insecurity, because it would attract the unwanted disaster. He wanted to know if that philosophy fit in with our teachings about the Loa. We told him that teacher was right in pointing out that attention to anything brings more of the essence of it to you. And so, if you were to focus upon the idea of possible bad things looming out there in your future, the discomfort that you would feel as you pondered those unwanted things would be your indication that you are indeed in the process of attracting them. But it is absolutely possible to briefly consider something unwanted occurring in the future, such as a financial situation that makes you feel insecure as you consider it, which could cause you to then consider the financial stability that you desire. As you focus upon the security that you desire, you may very well be inspired to an action that enhances that state of security. The action of saving money or investing in assets in and of itself is neither positive nor negative. But that teacher would be correct to say that you cannot get to a place of security from an insecure footing. Our encouragement is to use the power of your mind to focus upon the good-feeling security you seek, and then take whatever positive action that's inspired from that place of feeling good. Anything that feels good to you is in harmony with what you want. Anything that feels bad to you is not in harmony with what you want. It is truly as simple as that. Some say that you should not want money at all, because the desire for money is materialistic and not spiritual. But we want you to remember that you are here in this very physical world, where spirit has materialized. You're here in your very physical bodies on this very physical planet, where that which is spirit and that which is physical, or material, blend. You cannot separate yourself from the aspect of yourself that is spiritual. And while you are here in these bodies, you cannot separate yourself from that which is physical, or material. All of the magnificent things of a physical nature, that are surrounding you, are spiritual in nature. 75. Telling a new story about abundance, money and financial well-being. The Loa is not responding to the reality that you're currently living and perpetuating. But instead it is responding to the vibrational patterns of thoughts that are emanating from you. So, as you begin to tell the story of who you are in relationship to money from your perspective of what you desire, rather than from the perspective of what you're actually currently living, your patterns of thought will shift, and so will your point of attraction. What is has no bearing on what is coming, unless you're continually regurgitating the story of what is. By thinking and speaking more of how you really want your life to be, you allow what you're currently living to be the jumping-off place for so much more. But if you speak predominantly of what is, then you still jump off, but you jump off into more of the same. So, consider the following questions, letting your natural answers flow in response to them. And then hear some examples of what your new story regarding money might sound like. And then begin to tell your own new and improved story of your financial picture and watch how quickly and surely circumstances and events will begin to move around you to make your new story a reality. Do you have as much money in your life experience as you want right now? Is the universe abundant? Do you have the option of having plenty of money? Was the amount of money that you would receive in this lifetime already decided before you were born? Are you now setting into motion through the power of your current thought the amount of money that will flow? Do you have the ability to change your financial situation? Are you in control of your financial condition? Do you want more money? Knowing what you now know, is financial abundance guaranteed? 76. An example of my old story about money. Here's an example. There are so many things that I want that I just can't afford. I'm making more money today than ever before, but money feels as tight as ever. It just seems like I can't get ahead. It seems like I've worried about money my whole life. I remember how hard my parents worked, and my mother's constant worry about money, and I guess I inherited all of that. But that isn't the kind of inheritance I'd hope for. I know there are really wealthy people in the world who don't have to worry about money, but they aren't anywhere near me. Everyone I know right now is struggling and worried about what's going to happen next. Notice how this story began by noticing a current unwanted condition, and then moved to justification of the situation, and then looked into the past for more emphasis of the current problem, which amplified the resentment more, then moved on to a broader view of perceived shortage. In other words, when you begin to tell a negative story, the Loa will help you reach from your present perspective into your past, even into your future, but the same vibrational pattern of lack will persist. When you focus upon lack in an attitude of complaining, you establish a vibrational point of attraction that then gives you access only to more thoughts of complaint, whether you're focused in your present, your past or your future. Your deliberate effort to tell a new story will change that. Your new story will establish a new pattern of thought, providing you with a new point of attraction from your present, about your past and into your future. The simple effort of looking for positive aspects from right where you stand will set a new vibrational tone that will not only affect the way you feel right now, but will begin the immediate attraction of thoughts, people, circumstances and things that are pleasing to you. 77. An example of my new story about money. Here's an example of a new story about money. I like the idea that money is as available as the air I breathe. I like the idea of breathing in and breathing out more money. It's fun to imagine a lot of money flowing to me. I can see how my feeling about money affects the money that comes to me. I am happy to understand that with practice I can control my attitude about money or about anything. I notice that the more I tell my story of abundance, the better I feel. I like knowing that I am the creator of my own reality, and that the money that flows into my experience is directly related to my thoughts. I like knowing that I can adjust the amount of money that I receive by adjusting my thoughts. Now that I understand the formula for creating, now that I understand that I do get the essence of what I think about, and most important, now that I understand that I can tell by the way I'm feeling whether I'm focused upon money or lack of money, I feel confident that in time I will align my thoughts with abundance and money will flow powerfully into my experience. I understand that the people around me hold many different perspectives about money, about wealth, about spending, saving, philanthropy, giving money, receiving money, earning money and so forth, and it's not necessary for me to understand their opinions or experiences. I'm relieved to know that I do not have to sort all of that out. It is very nice to know that my only work is to align my own thoughts about money with my own desires about money, and that whenever I'm feeling good, I've found that alignment. I like knowing that it's alright for me to occasionally feel negative emotion regarding money. But it is my intention to quickly direct my thoughts in better feeling directions, because it's logical to me that thoughts that feel good when I think them will bring positive results. I understand that money will not necessarily manifest instantly in my experience with the changing of my thinking, but I do expect to see steady improvement as a result of my deliberate effort to think better feeling thoughts. The first evidence of my alignment with money will be my improved feeling, my improved mood, my improved attitude. And then real changes in my financial situation will be soon to follow. I'm certain about that. I am aware of the absolute correlation between what I've been thinking and feeling about money, and what is actually happening in my life experience. I can see the evidence of the Loa's absolute and unerring response to my thought, and I look forward to more evidence in response to my improved thoughts.